I am the only person in history that I know of that told Easy Rider to go fuck yourself. I don't want my bike in your magazine. Mm-hmm. True story. That did not work well out for me. Wasn't my fault.
So it's all together, but that's not the one that's in the truck right now. But I had to, the guy on Craigslist that I bought it from, that's not true.
Go with Craig.
Was he Middle Eastern? Was he Middle Eastern?
No, he was Russian. They could get anything.
That was a cool look back then. Don't be breaking my balls.
I need a drink now, you guys.
Two guys that I know that if I put a silver dollar out on the racetrack, they could find it at 200 miles an hour and hit it, okay? Biggest difference, Bill Elliott could tell you if it was heads or tails. Jeff Gordon would stop, pick it up, put it in his pocket, and go invest it.
Beach assault, because I'm on a scuba team, and we come up on this beach, and a nude beach, and there's chicks everywhere.
Read about an audition for the Detroit Pistons dance team, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Oh my God, you got all the pictures.
You're right down. You're down in the bottom, right?
I thought I had all this deleted.
How'd that happen?
Well,
He was on.
Shag was
He's looking like he
There
heard
he
it.
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's probably
Oh,
hearing
I'm sure he's listening.
The norm.
People turned our show off and felt better about their dysfunction. I'm serious.
How'd you like to make $5 the hard way?
Literally the most professional podcast I've ever done.
Money's on the dresser.
Tonight, we don't have Shorty. I know, right? You can say I screwed up. What can I tell you? It's next week. Next week is Shorty. So tonight, we have Sergio Shifman from ProCharger, because Carrie, the guy that we're all used to dealing with, Carrie is retiring sometime soon. So Sergio is coming in and taking his place, or is taking his place for all I know. I've never met Sergio, but that's okay. We can abuse him just like we abuse everybody else. That's what me and John do, and it's just the way life is. So if you guys want to email us, it's 3 lefts, the number 3, lefts don't @gmail. And you can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on YouTube. As a matter of fact, you can watch us on Facebook, but we don't get paid for Facebook. So go to Spotify or YouTube right now so we can make a couple dollars, because we ain't making no money. I hate to beg like that, but that's just a simple fact. All right, so I'm going to bring John in. Ken's going to bring John in, I should say. And then we're going to bring in Serge. Come on, Ken, hit it.
So did you guys know that AMSOIL is the corporate entity, and then they have independent dealers who sell their products? So here's the thing. We called up Nick at syntheticadvantage.com, and we said, Nick, we're doing a sticky green love machine, and we don't want it to be so sticky. And he said, guys, I got you. And here's our oil, right? So we've got all the fluids we need to get the sticky green love machine not so sticky. Check them out, syntheticadvantage.com. Tell Nick Lou sent you. Yeah. Guys, I misspoke. I showed you ATF. That's fantastic. It's fine. But they also sent essential soil. Synthetic advantage. Yeah, that's right, Nick.
Who's that?
I'm coming from my jail cell. I had a bad
I
weekend.
can see that. Your 4x8 mansion? Or is it 4x10? Is it 5x10?
I got internet. I got a camera. I got my cell phone.
What, are you running the fucking joint?
There you go. I'm Italian, so guess what?
Oh, you're at home.
Yeah, I got relatives here. Don't worry about it. What are you up to? What are you doing?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to call tomorrow and find out if I got that job at the truck shop.
Yeah.
I'll know more about that tomorrow because, tomorrow will be a week. So I'll do that. Monday, I go back to the school. That's going to be huge comedy. And really, that's about it. Oh, I went to, so Charlotte Mecklenburg school system. They had, one of the high schools they have is Independence High School. And they have an automotive class. So I went there Monday morning and gave a little safety ditty and showed the kids how to weld. And I let them all weld all day. It was 4 classes. And I let them, I gave them the safety brief. Then we went out to the shop and they all got to run like about 4-inch bead with the MIG welder.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. If they want to learn, I don't mind teaching them.
Right.
I don't mind teaching them at all.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what we can. The teacher doesn't know how to weld. That's why he hasn't taught them, which is fine. I mean, not all mechanics know how to weld. But
yeah.
I told him, I said, if you need to generate money for this program, there's ways we can do it with welding. And he, we're going to talk about it. So you never know. Because I'd like to see it grow. If I can be a part of it.
Did they have? What equipment did they have?
The equipment they have is a couple of tool carts, probably like 3 of them. They have one big box that's got probably 3/4 full. They have a snap-on welding machine. They have 2 lifts, and they got an alignment rack that was down. They call it down donating from one of the colleges. It might have been the college that I part-time teach at. I don't know, but it was down donated to them. But it's kind of screwed up because the building that he's in doesn't have a high enough ceiling, so you can't really put a lift in it. They had to get lifts custom made, which were a little bit shorter, so they could put it all in. But it's not. But dude, it's not bad. It's a start. You know what I mean? It's a start. You got kids learning about it, so that's better than what they've had for the last few years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to?
Birthday was last week, Friday. Turned 57.
So you're old.
Not 58, 57. So, but I am old, and I'm tired. My brain skits it out. I'm losing it. But I had dinner with the family on Friday. We went out to a steak place near me.
Yeah.
And I had my brother, sister, their spouses. My wife was with us. We had a good time. But we were sitting there talking, and Linda brings up the fact that years ago we were talking about getting a housekeeper. Watch the dogs while we're traveling, clean the place, do whatever. She's talking. The conversation was short. So she says, John says that you can get any type of housekeeper, it just can't be Filipino. So my brother turns to me and he says to me, why not Filipino? And I said, Lorena Bob was Filipino. I said, not going to happen. So he starts laughing. My sister
was Filipino?
She was.
Was she?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was Filipino. So I said to my sister-in-law, I said, when they sewed that back on, he started doing porno. And my sister says, what happened? What happened to the wife? I said, the wife got killed in a car accident. And they went,
did she?
Yeah, some dick cut her off.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You don't get the joke.
I caught it. I caught it. They see if she was Filipino, that if you go out there butterflying, they call it butterflying. They don't like that. They don't like
butterfly.
They call it if you're out there screwing around, they call it butterfly. They don't like that. It's okay if they do it, but don't you do it. It's just like our political parties. There's a double standard.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but once I heard that back in the day, that was probably what, 1990, somewhere around there. When did that happen? It's a long time ago,
wasn't it?
Probably. I think half the people were going, "Who the hell's Lorena Bobbitt?"
Yeah, I don't know when. I don't remember. I don't know. I couldn't.
Yeah,
I'm getting old. So I don't
it's
remember.
going back there. Did you see booked up Rawlings again? He's coming back.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's coming. When's he coming? April or May? May 17th.
I think it was the 19th, April 19th.
Yeah, Finnegan's coming on April 19th.
Okay, so
book Finnegan today.
I knew it was one of them was the 19th, and the other. So Rollins is
17th, May 17th.
May 7th. Yeah, May 17th. Yeah.
We have Zoller's coming back on May 24th.
Okay.
Chip Foose, May 31st.
Yep.
June 7th, Bill Gold.
Yep. And I sent Arnie Gonzalez. He's the guy who does the Pro Touring Truck Shootout. And I just sent, when you told me Finnegan got Finnegan got on the 19th.
Oh yeah.
I told him pick the 14th or the 21st. And I didn't give anyone the season finale because I didn't know what you wanted to do. I didn't give him the 28th of June because that's the season finale.
We got to figure that out.
I didn't know if we were going to do it or if I didn't know. I don't know. We're going to do a best of, like a best of all the clips from the season. I don't know. So I didn't give it out.
Yeah. We have Ben Tucker coming on in 2 weeks from Camaro Central.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about SEMA. We're going to talk about Power Tour. We're going to talk about Armo.
Yep.
All that good stuff.
I got to do another video for Randall for Armo. I got to do another video. I keep meaning to do that, but I've been busy.
Are you going to have time to come up here and shoot? Because you going to be able to go to Carlisle, Spring Carlisle?
I'm planning on it. I told them that I had a bunch of stuff planned this summer because I didn't know what I was doing. So I just started getting stuff together, and I told them I'd give them all the dates if I got the job, and I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, well, you got to block off SEMA, Power Tour.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I've already obligated to all this stuff. I'm not gonna this. Okay, so I didn't. I wanted to get a job. I want to learn how to straighten frames, truck frames, big rigs. So I heard that they might be looking for someone, and I was like, I've never done it, but I want to learn it. And they were cool with that. The thing is the floor manager and the manager of the shop, they both told me, they said, look, we got 6 guys, they're green. And if you can just help them get stuff back together, timely, we could work something out. And he also said to me, he said, he goes, have you ever estimated before? I said, well, for deployment, I was an inspector for the battalion. They have 3 inspectors. I was one of them for deployment. And he said, I said, it's the same thing. You gotta write up the work orders and all that. I said, you don't put times in it, but it can't be much different. You need to know what you're looking at. And I said, if you want, I can do an estimating and we can work into the shop. He was like, that's a good idea. So I'm just waiting to find out. I mean, he's got to run it by the higher ups. So it may not happen, but I'm not going to cancel everything out, not knowing what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So are you ready for Serge? Let's bring in Serge. He doesn't know us, so we don't have to go nice on him.
We got to make him comfortable.
We can make him comfortable, but we're still gonna pull the rug out from under him.
Bring him on. Ask him if he's done this before and how he feels about it.
He hasn't done this with us, so it doesn't matter if he's done with us.
All right, so what do you want to do?
Bring him on, Ken. So it doesn't matter if Serge has been on other podcasts. He's never done it with us.
Serge, have you done on the podcast?
No, nothing to this caliber. That's for sure.
We're too funny. Caliber
Stop
shit.
it.
We're two jackasses.
No, really, I haven't. I've done some radio interviews and stuff at SEMA and PRI, but nope, no other podcast yet.
answer Nick. Nick wants to know about Sticky Green. We'll give you an update next week when Shorty's on, because I know Shorty's an Impala guy. Sorry, Serge, I don't mean to jump to a question.
No, go ahead.
You're cutting out, John.
Am I?
So Serge, is that a picture in your background, or is that your shop?
No, this is my garage. This is my shop.
Dude.
Yeah, I wanted to do it at ProCharger at the shop
No,
there.
this is
but
better.
It's,
This is better.
Yeah, this is a little better.
This is better, man.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
my little hot rod
So
behind me and my El Camino.
You got a Roadster in there. What else is in there?
70 El Camino right there.
Okay.
My wife's little kind of a pro touring build. It's getting a ProCharger on it within the next month or less, hopefully.
The Roadster, what's it? Is that a 29?
31 Roadster with a Hemi in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys mentioned Power Tour. That's the plan for the El Camino. It's going to get ProCharger and go on the Power Tour. Hopefully so.
Well,
there you go.
Make sure you have full coverage on it, because it's going through Atlanta, and they love stealing cars in Atlanta. I ain't gonna lie, man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Nerve-wracking overnight, letting your prized possession sit out in the parking lot.
Yeah. Well, and hey, if you just do the day in Atlanta, I'm gonna throw an offer out there. I'm 4 hours from Atlanta, and you're going to Charlotte Motor Speedway. I am right there. If you just want to get done with Atlanta instead of spending the night and leaving in the morning, come up here. You can crash at my place.
Yeah,
the car be safe.
Yeah, we'll see if ProCharger, if we all decide to do displays at each event, then I'm going to be kind of tagged. It's a little bit of a mess to.
Yeah, no, I know.
Go from one town to the other, tear down, set up every morning, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm 4 hours away, and every time I've been to a show in Atlanta, every day the people are talking about what cars were stolen. What car? I mean,
yeah, but we know people. There's people that we know in Atlanta. Brian Fuller is out of Atlanta, is he not? Same with
he's
Crush.
out of Atlanta, but I don't think he would. I don't know him well enough. Put it that way.
Finnegan's out there too, right?
That's right. Finnegan is there.
Yeah, he's out of Georgia. Yeah, it's true.
He's somewhere. He's somewhere in the suburbs. He would, if you get a hold of him, he'd help you out. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody or someplace you can tuck it away instead of leaving it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe if it goes, it might be inside the ProCharger trailer every night. So that'll be the safest spot for it.
The fuckers will steal it all.
Yeah.
What were you saying? What's it? You was telling me in Vegas at SEMA they stole about 16 trailers full of equipment.
Yep. Bruce and Modern Driveline. I think it was 16, 13 or 16 trucks and trailers.
Took it all.
Took it all Friday night.
And they didn't want anybody to talk about it.
Drive back, gone.
They're trying to keep it hush hush.
SEMA 2019. I don't know if you guys remember the Challenger that was scheduled to be in our booth got stolen.
That's
trailer
right.
with the truck with the Challenger in it got stolen. Police chased all around Vegas, and they chased him into a parking garage, and it's all on camera. It was crazy. And then we got the car back just in time, like one day before the show started. All banged up, front bumper ripped off of it, and we still put it in the booth with police tape around it. And some of the officers.
I remember Jerry telling me about that. When I walked by the booth, I'm like, "What the hell is going on here?"
That was a stressful couple days trying to decide we didn't know if we'd get the car back, and looking for other cars, optional cars to put in the booth. It was crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think it's a different world. Things are changing pretty quick, don't you think? I mean, with all the nonsense that's going on, and the world's a little nutty. It's sort of weird. But sad. It's sad that they got to keep it under wraps to tell people it's still safe when 13 trailers go missing. How do 13 trailers disappear out of Vegas in the desert?
Right.
They've got it buried in a tunnel somewhere. I mean,
they're doing
it's possible. I mean, you should be able to jump in a helicopter and figure out where they are. Seriously, it seems pretty crazy. Serge, give us a background of what you were doing before you hooked up with ProCharger.
Well, I've been a ProCharger quite a long time, 21 years this year. But I was just mechanic at several different automotive shops and GM dealership, things like that. So I had a good background in automotive. mechanic skills, ASC, and all of that. And then jumped into ProCharger, had some friends that were engineers and techs there. And here in the Kansas City area, ProChargers was really growing at that time.
Yeah.
We've 20 years ago. So it was, not quite like it is now, but so jumped in there. Quite a bit of growth. The company's grown a lot. We've expanded buildings, new building across the street, another new building. So it's been a huge growth since I started.
ProCharger started what, like 96?
94.
94. So
94,
you're like 8 years, 10 years in when they started. So you're really right.
Yeah,
so
I was 8 years in. Yep.
What when you first walked in, what did they have you doing? What was your role?
I think lucky. We had a just luck of the draw. I started just for technical help, technical support, taking phone calls, helping dealers, installing kits, things like that. But we were in the process of building a company exhibition car, show car, test car. We had a 69 Nova that it was a project with Super Chevy magazine. And at that, right when I started in 01, it had just came back from the paint and chassis shop. And so the first 6 months, my job there was to wire the car and get it fired up running. And then it kind of took off from there. We went to Super Chevy shows with it and did exhibition runs. It was a early blow through carburetor days. It was a small cubic inch, big block Chevy, F2 ProCharger on it, made about 1,500 horsepower on pump gas.
Damn it, man.
That car, pretty neat. At Super Chevy shows, we would run it during exhibition. So they had nitro coupes come through between bracket cars, and their main Saturday afternoon exhibition. We'd run it naturally aspirated Saturday mornings. It ran mid 11s naturally aspirated, which respectable, but it was a back half big tire car that seemed a little slow. But then people we'd install the ProCharger kit in the afternoon, and then for the evening session, we'd run it with the ProCharger on it. And it usually ran 850s to 880s on the afternoon session. So yeah, huge difference.
That is a huge marketing deal. I never thought of that. Run it during the day and then come out for another session with it on. That is crazy.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I don't know if anyone's done that, and people could come by and watch us put the Supercharger kit on. And I mean, we had it down to where it didn't take that long, but we had it on and off so many times. But it was still interesting exhibition. Really, still to this day, I talk to customers and people that remember that car back in those days, and that kind of spurred them to put a ProCharger on their car, on their carbureted blow-through Chevy combo, just like it. And
yeah.
How has the product changed in that amount of time, over the time that you've been there, and how much time is spent at R&D?
Yeah, definitely. The product line we are well on our way on engineering and designing the really good quality and high performing superchargers even at that time. But just the quality control has stepped up so much. The design and fit and ease of installation for street kits, like right there, you're showing our newest, latest Corvette, mid-engine Corvette kit. So that was a big, huge engineering undertaking to design a kit that would fit on a mid-engine car. Placement of the supercharger, figuring out how to do intercooling. But that's our street car kits really have been our bread and butter for all these 25 plus years. And now, and the racing has always been right along with it. The street car side would feed us enough to do the racing side as kind of the fun side of the company. But now we're so much we've stepped up so much on the racing side. It's really taken off to be just as big on sales and just as big on phone calls on the racing side. You're showing there that's the big, huge accomplishment earlier this year. That's the fastest pass on a door car. You have Pro Mod or Outlaw Pro Mod, but any door style Pro Mod car on the U.S. soil. There was one car that gone just a touch faster in UAE or Qatar, but this car, went 539, 267 centrifugal blow. Big Hemi motor. That's also last weekend NHRA. 2 back-to-back championships in NHRA last year and the year before, and now first race of this season at Gator Nationals. ProCharger car won it. Justin Bond on the Bahrain 1 team.
That's all.
Serge, do me a favor, because I was talking to people today, and often we assume a lot here on the level of people at conference calls today, talking about the show, talking about tech. Can you briefly explain the difference between turbochargers, superchargers, and what everybody knows as the old blowers? So how's it work? I mean, for the layman. So because we always assume guys know ProCharger, guys know. It's never safe to assume that they know anything. And it may help somebody that's in a situation thinking, how do I turn here? Because lately I've seen guys with CTSVs, they come out of the box with a supercharger on it, 556 horsepower. They're taking it off. They're putting twin turbos on there. Everybody's got their own preference of what they do and how they do things. Can you explain how, who, and what so the layman can understand what makes you guys go?
Yeah, for sure. A typical blower supercharger that everyone's used to hearing for many, many years is like mounted on top of the engine. Screw or a root style, screw style, or a twin screw is common on like what's on the Hellcat, like you mentioned on CTSV is a root style, but that's a top mounted supercharger, sits right on top of the engine, driven by a belt, and that's it forces air. So it pulls air in the top or underneath, but it, just even a step back in layman's terms, what all these forced induction is it's forcing air in the engine to allow it to make more horsepower. So the more air, the more fuel you can put in with it, the more power you'll get out of an engine. So you're growing its displacement or forcing air in. But so the top mounted superchargers really have good low end power a lot of times, especially for street cars and even racing too. But sometimes the air charge is hotter because it's sitting on top of the engine. The engine's heat soaks it. So you can do it intercoolers, and a lot of them factory cars will have a liquid style intercooler, air to water. So it's got coolant going through, not the engine's coolant, but a separate water system to cool that boost. But still usually hotter boost than our style, than a centrifugal style ProCharger. And so that's the difference. ProChargers are a centrifugal supercharger, still driven by a belt or directly driven off the crank by a gear drive, but still spun by the engine's rotation. So but it uses a lot very similar to a turbo. It uses a spinning impeller blade, like you're commonly see. You look at a turbo and you look at the inlet side of a ProCharger, they look very similar. So it uses the lightweight blade, an efficient way to move air, more efficient than the screws or the big roots that are inside of the top-mounted supercharger. So the centrifugal style supercharger, not mounted on the engine, it's mounted off to the side, so that lets it stay a little bit cooler, doesn't have that heat soak from the engine. It allows us to run either a air-to-air intercooler, which is common on street cars, to run a intercooler mounted out in front of the radiator, get a cooler air charge. So, and that lightweight impeller blade is the way to spin, so it takes less power, a little bit cooler air charge because of the way it's mounted and the intercooling. So all in all, a little more efficient. Turbochargers use the exhaust. So similar blade design like a ProCharger, but instead of running a belt or directly connected to the crank, the headers or the exhaust manifolds go into one turbine that spins the air inlet turbine. So there's an exhaust turbine being spun by the exhaust flow, and then the airflow side turbine that sucks in air and forces that into the engine.
There you go.
Those have advantages, disadvantages that they're not technically taking power from the crank to spin them, but they are corking up or plugging up the exhaust flow. So it's still not a free power. You're not, you can't measure the drive load, but it's hard to, it is plugging up the exhaust. What's the first thing you want to do to your car to make it faster is you put headers on it, open up the exhaust flow, and that picks it up. So with turbos, that's the disadvantage a lot of times. But turbos allow you to run air-to-air intercoolers also. So that's, a lot of OEs use turbos. Sometimes they're easier to package.
So you guys have a kit for the C8 that you developed. How can the everyday guy put that on?
Yeah.
You got to
Honestly,
dumb down enough, or it's easy.
It is. We've, I mean, it's still, these newer cars have a lot of, slightly in-depth technical clips and pins and things that need to be removed from the top side of the engine. But the thing we really spent a lot of time on to develop that kit is that it can be done from tops. 90% of it is top side. So the engine doesn't have to be removed. You don't have to drop the cradle out the bottom. You don't have to do any huge, extensive,
that's awesome.
Huge modification to the car at all. It's nothing permanent has to be modified. You do have to get underneath to access the belt drive system on the front. But most of it, technically, it could be done on jack stands in a regular garage, but it's going to take it. It's a little bit tricky if they have taller jack stands. But yeah, the average do-it-yourselfer could definitely.
What about the computer?
That's awesome.
Computer. I'm glad you mentioned that because we are the first. The computer has to be removed from the car, shipped off to us, and we do a reflash. We unlock it and we're able to reflash it. We're the first in the industry to be able to do a reflash computer on these C8.
Wow.
So
If
it comes to us, we reflash it.
What's the turnaround time on a computer? What's the downtime?
Usually the very next business day, we can usually have it shipped back out. So, 2-day shipping, however, we give a form to fill out and ship with it with a shipping label. And it's usually 2-day air to get to us, and we'll 2-day air it back. And sometimes we'll make exceptions and the customer can overnight it back. But, if it's a 20 or so hour install, 20, 25 hours, if you take the computer out the day you get started or maybe the day before.
Do it first.
And you're doing a weekend install or the shop's got it for maybe 2 business days, they'll have it back when it's all buttoned up.
Do you remember off the top of your head the retail on what that costs to put that all together for the C8?
Yeah, the C8 kits right now for a complete kit, we've got 2 kits. There's the high output kit that's $17,500 is retail price for that as a complete kit, including the computer tuning. Those kits are 5 pounds of boost, gains 170 horse on the bone stock car with nothing else done to it. It'll gain 170. The stage 2 kit, we bump it up to 7.5 pounds of boost, and that's a 225 horse gain.
Wow.
So that puts the car, 725 horse at the crank, well into the 700 or so at the tire on the stage 2 kit. Stage 2 is a little more expensive. It's $18,500 for the stage 2 kit.
Big difference for the money, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when you compare it, you're going to do it. You must do it top notch, especially on that. I mean, you got $100K into the car, if not a little more. Why not? Get the thing to work.
Right.
Well,
at that
the
point,
thing is when you stop and think about it, the thing is it's easy to do. You know what I mean? When you start doing turbos and all that, you're getting into a lot. You're getting into exhaust.
A lot of plumbing.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. But just to be able to do it in a weekend, that's good. That's a good deal.
Yeah, and it's really a bolt-on kit. I mean, it's the belt drive system, mounting brackets, everything just bolts onto existing mounting holes. There's, the trunk panel we supply a new trunk panel that gives you room. You remove the factory trunk panel, and the new one we supply has a little bulge in it to make room for the supercharger. But all that could be put back to stock, a year or 2 down the road. Somebody wants to trade it in on the next newer model, they can take that off and put it on.
When you guys are developing that, are you hands-on and follow that process through? Is the place too big that you can't? Are you seeing what goes on to develop that C8 system?
Oh yeah. I'm usually one of the. Quite often, I do some of the R&D installs. We'll get, and we have cars constantly coming in and out. Beta test cars, model year updates, and I'm pretty heavily involved in that.
Is that a 2-year process to make that happen? How long does that take from start to finish?
The C8's probably been our longest, engineering development project, and it started pretty much as soon as those cars were available and came out on the showroom floors. We got one. I actually got one and then got another one following that. And it took a year and a half. Thankfully, it was right in that COVID time frame where we got one pre GM shutdown. So we had one. Actually, we had 2 cars just before that, I think. And we worked on it.
Perfect timing. Yeah. When everybody else slowed down, you had stuff to do there.
We never. It's crazy that we never slowed down. We were still at work every day, and it was we separated out. But it's good to be out in the shop instead of in the office.
Yeah, no kidding. Better to be at home. Better than being at home not getting paid. Shit. But that's because you're an essential worker. That's what you are.
Yeah, and we were a bit worried about it. Thankfully, ProCharger has a sister company called Innovair that we do our industrial division. We do wastewater treatment and pneumatic conveying for plants. But our biggest part is in some aircraft de-icing also. So we were able to be essential workers, and since we had government contracts with the aircraft de-icing, for a couple weeks there, we're like, oh, are we going to get in trouble for staying open? But
interesting. Sticky Green's got a Supercharger LSA. Nick wants to know about the ProCharger already. Yeah, I got the LSA motor going.
Yeah.
What else was I
So,
going to ask you? Go ahead, look.
Have you guys put ProChargers on planes, don't you? I remember Carrie saying something about that once? Did you guys have a kit for some of the planes, or we got to talking one time and he said something about that? And I never followed up with asking him what the hell he was talking about. So I'm asking you.
Yeah, not intentionally, definitely not as a kit. We try and steer away from it because of all the FAA regulations, and I know
That's what I thought.
You get some experimental aircraft that are handmade. The guys call us and ask us, to size a Supercharger for them. As soon as we find out that it's going on an aircraft, we technically we can't help you with that. But maybe he was talking about the de-icing side, where
maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, because we do supply.
Because I remember it. Yeah, I remember him telling me about the de-icing thing too. But
almost every de-icing truck in the country is using a ProCharger unit inside that truck. We don't supply, we just supply the Supercharger units to companies that equip those trucks, but the forced air part of it is all a ProCharger air coming through there.
That must have been it. That must have been it.
When
you told me, I was like, oh, totally off guard with that one.
What's the number one application? We sell most of for what? What kit goes out the door most?
For probably the Mustang, late model Mustang kits. Carrie's going to kill me because I should know what the biggest seller is, but
he's retiring. Don't worry about him. He's got a foot out the door. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's on cruise control.
Don't even worry about it. We got you back.
Lou, what's your relationship with him? What happened?
I met Carrie when we were doing Muscle Car, and we were going to build this instead of old Blue Hair, which was the 70 Nova. We were going to build a 66 Buick Skylark, and I found this guy named Bob Markley up in Michigan, and Bob has 6. They're called Bulldog blocks. This guy made these big block Buicks, and there was 3 aluminum and 3 cast, and Bob has all 6 of them now. So we were going to do this crazy 66 Skylark, and I want to say that the engine came out to 565 cubes at the time. We're talking 14 years ago now, and we put an F1R on it, and it was all a go. And then all of a sudden, the production company pulled the rug out from under us, and they were like, "Oh, you can't do that car." I'm like, "Dude, we got the engine. The engine's built. It's been dynoed. The car that we can. I can go pick up the car." And they were like, "Nope, can't do it." So that's how I met Carrie, because when I called him up and told him what we were doing, he's like, "You're out of your mind." So I'm like, "No, really, this is gonna work." The guy assured me it can work. But it's crazy because Bob actually used it was an Eagle Stroker crank that he had to cut down. He did a bunch of machine work to make it fit in the Buick block, and then he had to have it renitrated, I think it is, because he had to cut so much out of it to get everything back to where it needs to be. And then we used Edelbrock heads that he CNC'd out, and we talked to Ulysses at Edelbrock. I don't know if he's still there, but Ulysses was the guy who basically designed all those aluminum heads. He was in on that. And we call him up because the Bulldog blocks have the fifth head bolt at 12 o'clock on the blocks. So we called up Ulysses and we did a conference call, and I was like, dude, can we punch a hole in this thing? And you could hear him punching numbers in his computer. You know, like he pulled up the files, and he goes, yeah, you do it. So Bob drilled all the holes in at 12 o'clock on the heads and O-ring the block. The thing made like fucking 1,300 horse or some crazy shit. Yeah. And he still has the engine. Because I mean, he was like, do you want it back? I'm like, I can't use it. I'm not doing the show. I don't have anything to put it in right now. I let everything, you know, I cut all the deals. And I told Kerry what was going on, and he goes, just think of me next time. I said, all right. Yeah. And I've been friends with him ever since. Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, you talk about adding a building on. You talked about grabbing the building next to it. What was the cause for the growth, and what happens in those other buildings? I saw the picture of it. It looks like it's one across the street has an odd look to it. I mean, it really doesn't look like the commercial complex.
Yeah.
What's going on over there?
Yeah, the one next door that's on the same street as ours, that's the Innovera, the industrial side, and we do all the industrial bigger blowers because they are in a big, definitely needs more room, and there's a big test cell in that room. Across the street, you know, and these are existing buildings. This kind of that complex or that street.
Oh, I thought you guys built that one because it looks different. Yeah,
we had the main building. We had that built, and we were the first to occupy that one. But then that kind of industrial complex grew up around us, and then as we needed room and other companies exited, we jumped on them, on any available buildings next door. We've got another fifth building just down the street with a chassis dyno. We've got a chassis dyno in our main facility and then one down the street. So now we're going to move that one to a new building we just acquired across the street. So it's all going to be a little closer.
Got a bunch of stuff.
Complex. Yeah. We really make our neighbors ride around us pretty mad. Or unless they're car guys and they like hearing cars and engines on the engine dyno and chassis dyno. And that's pretty fun.
How did and when did the original company start, and what happened? Do you know what happened that they morphed into the Superchargers?
Yeah, and in 93, 94, in that time frame, two brothers, Ken Jones and Dan Jones, were the two kind of brainchilds of the start of the company. Dan was kind of the engineering mind and developed a better centrifugal supercharger than what was already out there on the market. Better bearing designs and a little more efficient impellers, and a little more compact gearbox to fit more engine bays. Ken, Stanford business graduate, and he was the business side of it. So he really, between those two, they got the company up and going and successful, and did a lot of smart marketing, good engineering.
They still work and still active. You see them?
Yeah. Ken's still an active part daily. Dan has kind of stepped away and doing his own thing, but Ken is still our CEO. He's still active daily, with the company.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm looking for
what
at the school they have a big supercharger, an industrial supercharger on an engine stand, and I took a picture of it. I can't find it. What?
Serge, what's next? What's in the black hole? What are you guys working on?
Yeah, we're always
that's what I figured.
Looking for the next
R&D. Right.
Yeah, R&D is constantly going. So model year development on new late model cars for daily driver street cars. Development for the drag racing side of things is grown so much. We've got so many big wins and championships in drag racing in the last few years that is continuing. We've got the next bigger supercharger to handle 4,000 plus horsepower. It's already outlawed before we even released it. So
no way.
But it's there as soon as we need it. It is even tested a little bit. Just in testing, the rumors got out and it's been outlawed in NHRA and no Prep Kings, and so, but it's in our back pocket as soon as we need it.
How many boosts does that one? How much boost does that one make?
It'll do, in the 60 to 70 psi range, and that's on a big race Hemi. Big mid 500 cubic inch race Hemi that the heads flow. Well, I don't know what it's 600 CFM
the flow good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, big max effort, all billet, best of the best Hemi that flows crazy numbers. It'll still move enough air to stack 60 plus pounds of boost in the
God, that thing's moving some air, man.
Yeah. There's some if for the drag race, you know, you guys know a little bit. I'm sure I know quite a bit about drag racing side of things, but something I heard just recently, you know, all these drag cars with these Pro Mods and No Prep Kings, things like that, they have Zoomy headers. Exhaust that comes out the sides, four pipes on each side. Those Zoomies will put downforce down on the ground. You know, they'll put downforce into the chassis. There's one of our racers told us about, you know, just on the trans brake, they stood the car on the trans brake in the chassis shop with scales underneath all 4 tires. And just on the trans brake, you know, these cars will make 10, 15 pounds or 12 to 15 pounds of boost just on the trans brake at 45, 5,000 RPM. It put 400 pounds of downforce on the front tires just from the trans brake. So that's why you see so many cars switching from turbos to ProChargers. They're able to put, you know, the downforce into the chassis so early, you know, and that's just on the trans brake. As soon as you let off the button, boost flashes from that, you know, 12 right to 30, 40 pounds within a split second, and that much more downforce just right into the chassis. So it's pretty neat. You know, it's something we didn't think about that often.
Got to put them up center. Can't tell the scale. How big is it?
That's an engine stand, you putz. It's an engine
Can't tell.
stand. Look at
Shit's so small. All I can see is your big head and your big hands.
It's an industrial one. It's big.
Yeah.
It's a big
We've got a new one. The impeller blade is this big. I mean, we had it at PRI, and there's some pictures floating around the internet of it. I don't have it here to show it off, but it's huge. It's, you know, about that big around. Inlet is probably a 260 millimeter inlet, I think is what it was.
That is crazy. You need to get one of those big impellers that's junk, and I can make a table out of it.
Yeah.
Put a nice glass top on it. It'd be a talk about piece.
Kat wants to know what you got for a 472 caddy motor. What do you got set up? I think she's putting that. She's building. What is she building?
She's putting it in that LaSalle. In that LaSalle.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she posted that earlier.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, we could definitely size up the right one for it. We don't have brackets for the old caddy motors, but we've had a lot of customers take a big block or a small block Chevy bracket, make an adapter plate to mount it to the cylinder head or to the front of the motor.
40 LaSalle.
Yeah, 40 LaSalle. I knew she was doing LaSalle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sir,
the only thing is that Cadillacs do not like high RPMs, the oiling system. You got to do some work on the oiling system. Those old Cadillacs. You know that. The cam will snap.
Good part about a supercharger, you change the pulleys around, size it, you know, do the supercharger speed wherever you want, and you can still shift it at 5,000, 5,500 RPM and have all the boost wherever you want it.
Yeah, on Caddies, the camshaft starves of oil. I don't know what RPM, but I remember that growing up. He was a Caddy guy, and he was always snapping. And then he did like you remember how you may have seen it like on the AMCs. There was some guy that was tapping into the oil passage on the back of the AMC block and running a hose out under the intake, and he was putting oil up top like that. I was told the Caddies they do the same thing. That's what I was told. So,
sir, are you familiar with Joe Zolfer's Builders Brawl? You follow?
Yeah. I don't, not as closely as I've heard of it.
Well, what the concept is for anybody that doesn't know, you actually have to build the car to run it. You can't write a check and say, here you go. So these guys are hands-on. Well, what I'm getting at, if you're looking to sponsor or get behind something where it's hands-on, the guys that actually build the stuff, we're actually going to produce the premiere, the pilot for Joe in the Builders Brawl. So we were talking today about production, and we told him that, you know, you were on tonight. We were actually invited him on, but he had plans with his family, couldn't get out, so he couldn't make it. But he had a bunch of questions. That's why I invited him on to say, come on and ask him directly yourself. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, I'd like
and
to
it's
work on.
Yeah, it's Memorial Day is the weekend is when the race is, but that's when everybody's going to head out and get everything together there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I just figured I'd throw it out too.
Cool. Yeah. I'll have to chat with him.
He's coming on.
Yeah, he's Chicago area. It's not that far from here. We're 7-8 hours from Joliet. I know that's his home track.
That's exactly where he's at. But we could put you in touch if you need any information or something there that works out. I don't know. But
very cool. Yeah. It's connecting the dots, man. Connecting the dots.
Serge, how many employees? I got 2 questions. How many employees total? And does anybody drive a Tesla?
Yeah. No.
And do you beat the shit out of that guy or no?
No Teslas that come into the parking lot. Not that we've seen. I don't know. Yeah. Not even any.
What do you think's going to happen?
We have anyone with a hybrid. But we're just over 100 employees now between the Innovair side and the ProCharger side. We're, I think, 100 or 105. And so it's continuing to grow. We really didn't lay off anyone or lose anyone during the COVID time. We've been about the same amount of employees for the last 5 years or so.
What do you think is going to happen with electric vehicles? What are your thoughts on that whole thing? And is there talk on your side of what they want to do or how to do or what?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has been talk for sure. We can't just ignore it. But we're thinking. I mean, if these V8 engines go away and gasoline performance goes away, we still have a lot of cars out there that we can make ProChargers for, and we can revamp, update all the old kits starting from 94 on back or on up. We've got kits for all kinds of old muscle cars. I think that'll really take off if these crate motor engines are still going to be made. And I think there's still going to be a lot of cars out there on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
Make a kit for the
Ford Godzilla engine. Yeah. That's that big one that Ford did.
Yeah, we've got a couple of options. We have it for the Godzilla motor in the F-250 and F-350 trucks. If it's in a stock current truck, we've got 2 different universal kits. Like if you're putting it in a Mustang or an old hot rod, we've got a kit like that with a belt drive, and we even have a race kit now with a crank drive, direct driven.
Oh wow!
Somebody making 1,500 plus horsepower.
Yeah. So now, aren't you guys 50 state legal?
Yeah, we have quite a few, many kits that are 50 state legal.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
There's a good shot of the Toyota. That's our latest, newest 50 state accomplishment. We, every kit we design, we try and have an option to do a 50 state kit, keeping the stock airbox, taking the vehicle out. It's a big process. We have to submit a vehicle out there to California, to their test lab. You have to go through all the tests stock, and then we put the ProCharger on it, bring it back, and go through all their emissions test again. But we're continuing. We always have at least 1 or 2 vehicles out there at the lab.
Wow, I didn't know that you had to go through all that to get them approved. I didn't know that. Well, California, they're yeah. I should have said 49 state legal.
Yeah, 49 and a half. Talk to us about SEMA. Typically, where's your booth? What's going on there?
Yeah, SEMA.
Now, see a change? Good.
Yeah, sorry. We're always in the central hall right there with all the other performance and aftermarket performance companies. This past year we were right in the middle, right next to the big. Well, this year was Toyota, but where Ford usually is, we were really close to that front row on the main aisle. So it was a great spot. SEMA show's interesting. Usually we would always bring the newest model street kit, so the newest model Mustang or Camaro or Corvette. We started bringing custom cars or a race car, custom show car, and I think that's worked out well. So we'll try and show both sides of our product line. It's been a little more fun.
Yeah. Anything for a Denali?
It's a 6.2. They always come with a 6.2 with it.
Yeah, I figured you did.
Yeah, 13 Denali 6.2. Usually those kits, complete kit with injectors and tuning, everything included. Adds, I think, on those almost 200 horsepower gain on a bone stock motor.
That's pretty good because that's probably what 410, somewhere around there, isn't it?
Yeah, like
Doc? Yeah. So you're probably
brings it up over 600 horse. Yeah, and we talk some big dollar numbers on that Corvette kit. These regular truck kits and even late model Mustangs, Camaro kits, they're usually in the $7,000 to $8,000 range retail for a complete kit. It's just these 68 Corvette kits are definitely way up there on price.
Corvette kits are totally there's way more that goes into it too. Yeah. All the panels and all that stuff too. Yeah.
It's tight.
It comes with a whole intake manifold, complete billet runner intake manifold that has an intercooler built into it. Cost in that is as much as a whole complete Denali kit almost. Yeah.
Right.
So for Lewis to take his Denali and put that kit on it, what are you talking about a day? 8 hours? What's it take on time wise for somebody who just jumps in? Somewhere around there?
Right around there, yeah. 8 to 10. The older ones that we have to do upgraded fuel injectors, it maybe takes another hour or two to do injectors. These newer ones are direct injection. The 14 and newer GM trucks and the Ford stuff is more and more have become direct injection. So no fuel pump needed, no injectors needed. Just install the brackets, supercharger, intercooler. And
Lewis wants to get a hold of you. He goes, contact you on social. I guess that's what he's getting at.
Yeah.
Or how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah. Our website, ProCharger.com, is the easiest way. That has a dealer locator right on the website. You can put in, if you do need help with install, the dealer locator, we've got a dealer network all around the country. You punch in your zip code and that'll pull up dealers in the area. If you want to buy direct, you could even price a kit. You go through the website and choose your vehicle, and it'll give you an option and all the breakdown, all the options on how to order the kit. It gives you an exact price. If you want to order it direct from us, we can do that now, but we still refer you to back. If you need help with install, your always best bet is to find one of the dealers, to help you with the install. Sometimes you'll even get a better price than retail if you're buying it through a dealer.
So Ben Tucker was asking about methane. You guys have anything have you looked into methane?
I wonder if he means methanol. Methanol fuel instead of gas.
I think he means gas, like propane and all that. That's what I'm thinking. He's going where he's trying to go.
Yeah, we haven't done much.
He's going to be on the show in 2 weeks. Yeah. Sorry. That's on in 2 weeks.
Methanol has definitely become the choice fuel for all the drag racing side. You don't have to use an intercooler, plumb the ProCharger right into the throttle body and force all the methanol you can in it.
Yeah. That's great. That's cool. There you go. See, you put ha. He's being a smart ass because he knows he's coming on the show. So we'll beat him up in 2 weeks.
Kick his ass. We'll kick his ass. You're in for it, man. We're going to write some jokes just about you. That's what's going to happen. Crack a laugh.
Cool.
So, we're going to try to make it out to SEMA. That's why I was asking about SEMA. We're trying to. We're going to have our 100th show. I think it's at the same time as SEMA.
Yeah.
Hard to believe, 100. And we take off this entire summer from June until I think September. Yeah. So it isn't like we're running 20 between then. That means we're probably at 85 now, somewhere 90.
Yeah.
To be able to hit that because we start back up in September and then we're off at the end of November.
What we need to do is just drive out to Kansas City and bother those guys, bother Serge and Cam.
We got to hook up with the power tour. We take Sticky Green on the power tour.
Well, why not go on a road trip?
Ken, you got pictures of Sticky Green? Put Sticky Green up so Serge knows what the hell we're talking about. It's a tribute.
He's old enough.
Oh, yeah. Is that the
he's
probably tribute car?
Yeah. He's about 10 years.
Tribute car. He just said, there it is.
There you go. 6.2 LSA supercharged. Brian Tooley can. 4L ADE. It's got Moser 9-inch rear. That's the motor before we took it all apart and put the supercharger on it. Brian Tooley is putting the motor together.
Cool. Yeah, we work with Brian Tooley a lot on camshaft combos and send people his way quite often.
I was trying to use that as a guide code to try to save myself some time. I ended up stripping the whole thing all the way down, like the fender. I should have just bought a fender. I bought that door, the blue door, got the chain wheel. I got a kick-ass system in it.
Is it a stick shift so you can do the first gear, second gear?
Yeah, if you listen, it's automatic, but he does go through the gears in the movie.
Yeah.
It's really, I got all the fur, the seats are done. I'm waiting for the panels. I got wiring I got to do before I put the dash back together. Still looking for the 8-track. Lou's looking for the shackles. He said he has it somewhere in the basement where he used to tie people up or some shit. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the seat.
Cool.
Oh, that's either going to be really hot getting in that thing. I'm not really sure what that fur is going to feel like. You know what I mean? It's got vintage air. And I also think that I don't know how they smoked in that car with all that fur. I think probably would light up in a second. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a damn fire hazard.
Yeah.
You would think, especially. Yeah, I mean, it's all over. It's going to be headliner the whole thing. Fur.
We did a project recently, and the guy took it to LS Fest this past year, but it was a hydraulic. It was a 4-door Impala. I think it was 63.
Yeah.
I should know.
Close.
But it's it was on hydraulics. He won the burnout contest with it, but he did LS motor with a ProCharger on it. It wasn't wild power, but still 700 horsepower probably or so. And he was doing a burnout and hopping it.
That's awesome.
So crazy.
Yeah, we're probably 600 and something. We're going to do a dyno on it before we tuck it in there. Figure it out. But yeah, he's probably got us topped by a little bit, I'm guessing. Right?
Yeah.
It's probably just short of 650, maybe.
Yeah, those LSA motors are
much
stout, just stock. It doesn't take much to just pulley in a tune, gets them up mid 600s easy.
They're not the LS engines. Period. They're no slouch, man. Actually, I'll probably be calling you guys when I do my dad's truck. I'm gonna jam a. I'm either thinking about the inline 6 that comes out of the Trailblazers, the Atlas series engines.
No.
Either that, or I'm gonna do an LS in it.
LS.
Why not the 6-cylinder? What's wrong with the 6-cylinder?
Because you got an LS, you got the computer, you got a ProCharger, you throw a ProCharger on it. Why not get the thing to rip a little bit? You won't have air. You're going to run down the road with the windows open like a Puerto Rican would.
Dude, I'll put air on it. The truck's a factory AC truck. I'll put air on
okay, so you're halfway there.
Yeah, it's an AC truck.
Are you going to rebuild that motor? You rebuild the motor I gave you?
No, not yet. That one's actually going in the S10.
That
one's going in the S10.
I thought you were going to rip it apart. That thing I think is already rebuilt.
Well, I'm gonna at least at a minimum I'm gonna pull the pan off and check a main and a rod and pull the head off at a minimum. But I never told you about the whole input shaft on the S10. It's pretty bad. I got pictures of it. I'll show you next week. And because I'm gonna have to take out the old 2.2 with 500,000 miles on it. That's what we need to strap a ProCharger on, Sergio. We need to strap it on my 500,000 mile 2.2 with a 5-speed in my S10. Let's see how much it can take.
Is that the Iron Duke 2.2?
No, it's not. It's not the Iron Duke copy. No, it's not. It's because it's 96. I think it's a Zuzu.
Those are like the flat valve cover.
Yes. Yeah. But it's.
Hey, sure, the rings are nice and loose. We can put some boost to it.
I'm sure we can. It's got like 250K on the rebuild. I drove it when we were doing car fix. Me and Jared went back. We went to Paola, Kansas to do a show, and we shot a show there. I drove it out there for that. I drove it out. That's when I came to see you guys. I had the S10. I drove the S10.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that the POS you brought up here?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. My wife says, she goes, was Lou's car parked out front? I said, yeah. A circle drive back. I said, why is that? He calls himself a mechanic. I said, what? Why is he leaking oil on our driveway? I said, that's fucking Lou. That's how Lou rolls.
I've driven that thing to Minnesota. I've driven it everywhere, man.
Half court here, half court there.
Yeah, we can strap a small ProCharger on that thing. I'm game. We can make that happen.
Send it down to R&D. They'll put it in their museum.
Yeah.
Right? 500,000.
We'll hang it out the hood. We'll cut a hole on. We'll put it.
Yeah, we can figure something out. I ain't worried about it. We can make something happen. Put a big cog belt on it, like the F1Rs have.
Lewis wants to know discount codes. Sorry, Lewis, we didn't negotiate that out front. You can call Serge, mention us. He may tack on 10%.
Yeah.
He's not going to discount it. You're going to pay a little extra on us. So
exactly. Mention the show, mention me. We'll throw T-shirts and hats in there.
There you go. So, Serge, I appreciate you coming on. It's interesting checking out what you guys are doing over there.
Absolutely. Yeah,
we'll have to hook up. Keep in touch and do power tour. Let us know because we'll figure something out. SEMA, let's hook up, get drunk together or something.
Sounds good.
Nothing else can cause chaos in your booth.
Yeah. Do that. And if we do the podcast from there, you got to come over, say hello, and talk shit, and
Oh yeah.
Jump in. Tell us what's happening. You know what I mean?
We'd love to do that right out of the booth with all the craziness going on in the background. That'd be fun.
Friday, I think what they're doing now is opening it up to the public. Are they not? Some changes this year coming up. So it's going to be, you don't need to be an insider or a member. You can just walk in and do your thing.
I heard they were doing that, but I didn't know that they're doing it this year.
Yeah, I heard Fridays. They're trying to make it like a week-long event, taking it into the weekend. So people don't roll out Friday morning.
Right. Friday. This year they did that. Friday they opened up to the public, and then tickets were pricey, but yeah, they were selling tickets. So I think they're going to do it for sure on that very last day on Friday, maybe even the last 2 days.
That's what I heard. They're trying to make it a big event and extending it a little bit for the public, which is cool. And here's the other thing before we jump. Ben Tucker, we got the call, Lou, on Friday with Ben and Randall Bates. So what they're 1 o'clock, what we're going to talk about, bringing a kid to a car show, keeping the next generation involved instead of having this thing fizzle out with electric. So part of what we want to do out at SEMA is exactly that, promote it and somehow attract the younger generation to that arena. Talk about classic industries, and I don't know whether it's going to happen or not because they say they get locked in on SEMA come June is when they start to focus, which I think is actually a little early. Talked about bringing Sticky Green out there and connecting them with actually Cheech and Chong in the booth for that Friday. A lot of shit up in the air. I don't know if 10% of it's going to stick, but still a lot of cool shit to try to get the next generation involved in going instead of having, a bunch of old heads wrenching. You know what I mean? So, but
definitely,
Ben and
Randall. Keep the young crowd interested.
Right?
And
I think the kids are more focused on their phone than they are what they drive into Uber, and it's not that things are changing.
Yeah.
When we were at school, if you had a cool car, you were a cool dude, and everybody knew who you were. Now it's if you got the iPhone 27, you're somebody. It's sort of weird. I don't get it, But by the time all that shit comes to fruition, I'll be out. Anyhow.
All right.
Serge,
thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. We'll catch up. Keep in touch with us.
Damn, he's gone that quick. Jeez. Anyway, so next week we got Shorty. I'm gonna go through him. I got you got it right here, so I'm gonna go through it. Next week we got Shorty. Then on the 29th we have Ben Tucker, who's Camaro Central, and May 10th is Nick from Amsoil and Bobby Bueller.
Okay. Bobby's the engine builder.
Okay, and then on the 17th of May is Richard Rollins, Gas Monkey, and then the 24th is Joe Zopla, and then the 31st is Chip Foose, and then June 7th is Bill Goldberg. So
I can't wait. I can't wait for Goldberg. I can't wait to tell him I'm coming down to Austin,
You gotta make sure that your damn audio is good because you were breaking up the whole time tonight.
Was I?
Yes, you were. I said that to you. You totally fucking ignored me. You just totally ignored me.
I always do, Lou. But I have a new computer. My other one took a shit. So maybe it's the computer.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you got half of what I'm saying, we're good.
Yeah. Other than that, we're good.
We got Finnegan 19th. April 9th.
Huh?
Finnegan's coming out.
What do you mean the 17th? You mean The 19th. Well, the 19th is Finnegan. Yeah, you said that. Yeah. We got Mike Finnegan. So that'll be
Shorty's going to be a good one next week too.
Shorty will be good because we can talk about his show too. So we'll be rocking.
Yeah. Who's Lewis? Who's Lewis? Are you Lewis? Remember you were telling me
Lewis.
Shorty was all fucked up. I was like, I got an email. Who's Lewis? You don't remember? No, whatever.
No. Oh, you mean dude? He never remembers me till he sees me.
He doesn't remember me either. He calls me Bob, Joe, Jack.
I could call Shorty, and I'm like, Shorty, it's Lou. Who?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him to start calling me Biggie. You're Shorty, I'm Biggie. This way he'll remember.
What I tell him, ask your girlfriend. Ask my girlfriend. She knows who I am. meeting his wife. I'm like, oh, Lou, okay. Because I always ask him, how's my girlfriend? So when he knows. How's my girlfriend? Okay, Lou. Now it clicks then.
Yeah, I think it's the lack of there over the years got to Shorty.
It's the paint fumes. What are you talking about? The lack of it? It's the paint fumes.
Yeah, he's too young for that. But he's probably close to our age. I was a little shocked when he pulled his hat off and showed he had full head of gray hair. At least he's got hair.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm about 2 seconds away from that, but I'm probably going to shave my head for the Goldberg issue. The episode. Yeah. That's why like I said, go down there, throw him a beat, and nobody will know who's winning. There's a bald guy kicking the shit out of everybody. That was me.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
I bring a wooden chair. Oh, but I was talking to Rawlings the other day. He said that Dennis Collins is having a giant auction, 200 plus cars down there in Dallas, April 28, 29, somewhere around there. Told us to come down and check it out. So if you're making your list of things that you got to get out of, it's probably a weekend.
Yeah.
Add that to your list because I told Ray we'd come down and drag him out, throw him a beating.
April.
Maybe it's a good time. I'd have to check. I think this is 28th, but when we get off, I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah, double check because I'll put that down.
Yeah, 200 cars. He says Dennis has been collecting cars since he's a kid. It seems weird that he's dumping everything.
Why is he dumping everything?
Maybe he wants to start over. But he also said, which I was surprised, that Dennis is 60.
Oh.
And he said Dennis is nonstop. For Rawlings to say that Dennis is nonstop and there's no quit in him means that dude's high energy all day long.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is crazy. Yeah.
I told him to invite him on just before the auction. Maybe we can get him on and talk about what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. That'd be cool if we could do that.
And then go down and check it out, whatever. I don't know. Just an idea. We were invited. Figured, who knows, Lou?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm cool with it.
Listen.
All right, get out of here.
Money's on the dresser.
All right, man. Later. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. You know, we took it easy on Sergio. You know, you could tell he was a little confused by us, but that's how we roll. So just remember, next week is Shorty. So be here or be square. Remember, check us out on Spotify. And if you want to email us, it's the number 3 lefts don't. And there you go at gmail.com. Until next week, keep it between the lanes. Later.